Cadre. I'm kind of tripping out here. I just learned some weird things just in the last 5 minutes. First of all, I learned that tomorrow is yeah, leave this page. Thank you, Facebook. Tomorrow, we're gonna have a super blue blood moon eclipse. Now the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, is down in Australia. So if you're down there, take a look for that. But if you're up here, don't bother. You're not gonna see that. But even dismissing that, supermoon occurs when the Earth, when the moon is the closest to Earth it gets in its transit. Yeah, you can come up, Gurr. I think you're out of frame. The blood moon occurs when particulates in the air change the color of the moon to red, and a blue moon occurs. A lot of people, well, it may be the same thing, but it's either when you get the second full moon in the same month as we're getting tomorrow, or it's when 4 full moons occur in the same season, and the third one of the 4 is the blue moon. I'm not sure if those occur in the same way. It's very possible, because I think the months go, it's something with knuckles, right? Like 3130, well, no, that's 29, 28, 31, 28, 3130, 31, I don't know. Anyway, so those two patterns may overlap, but that's not what I'm freaked out about. You know, that in fact Neil deGrasse Tyson just posted something about the definition of moonstruck and the idea that strange celestial events are actually quite common in the cosmos. It's just that with our limited perception and experiences, we don't, and short lifespan, we don't see them that often. So anyways, putting the super blue blood moon eclipse aside, and even ignoring all the coincidences, I chose the name Drude possibly over a year ago. I'm not sure, but all I did was combine the word druid with dude. And recently I came across the phrase primitive progressive, which sounds at first like a contradiction, but of course it's easy to separate those two things into primitive, you know, and progressive being forward-minded, and primitive being back to basics. And of course this reminds me of rewilding, which, you know, shout out to Zach, you're on Facebook right now, I just saw you log in there. Anyway, so yeah, putting the moon aside, and part of the reason I combined druid with dude is that it's old and new, it's spiritual yet casual, and really I just learned today from watching a Let's Play. Dashy, shout out to Dashy, I know you're not watching, that just learned that, gosh, my brain's rushing way too fast. What did I learn from Dashy? Oh, dude, he was playing the video game of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and the question came up, which of these words is a Western term for someone from out east who's visiting a cow ranch or something. Anyways, the answer is dude, and I knew the term dude came from cowboys, but I thought they used it to refer to each other, but apparently it's actually to refer to city slickers, which, whatever, that's fine. Those dichotomies and inversions, even cognitive dissonance is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'm cool with all that, but man, I'm trying to get into this. So how did I even run across this? Where was I? Did I just search for Drude? So many things have spun through my brain in the last 5 minutes, I can't even remember how I got into this. Everything I've said so far is just more coincidences. With this, this week is crazy, and I saw the moon tonight, and I thought, whoa, that's full, which I often do on the day before a full moon, because it's really hard to tell those 3 days. The moon looks pretty full, but so apparently it's tomorrow night, and there's cusps and thresholds at work. The moon technically may be full. Anyways, when you can't see it is what I was going to say with the rest of that sentence. But yeah, so maybe before I should name myself, I should check Wikipedia. I didn't realize there was a Wikipedia entry for Drude, as I spell it. I had run across it as a surname first. Let me undo some closed tabs. Hello again, Zach. Undo again. What? Oh, I missed the tab. No? Wait. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Undo closed tab, Air jar, yep. SIF. Oh man, I've gone through so many tabs in the last 5 minutes. Google Translate. Oh no, okay, this is how I got into it. I was curious if you searched for web and drude with a space, if you would find my YouTube channel, and it doesn't appear on the first page. Maybe adding. Hey, there's a guy named Brent Drude. Anyways, I saw that the first result was Drude model. And I'm like, the Drude model? The Drude model of electrical conduction was proposed in 1900 by Paul Drude. This is the first I've ever heard of Drude being a last name. It's not surprising. There's so many last names. And this is, this is a German guy? Paul Drude. I already clicked on this, but I closed it. Paul Karl Ludwig Drude. Yeah. German, 1863 to 1906. Okay. Oh, nice stash, dude. Respect. I can't do that. Okay, Paul Drude, German, looking at electromagnetism, specializing in optics. A German physicist specializing in optics. That's cool. I just was on a group chat last night, with people talking about physics, and I felt like I was just staring at it. Yep, German physicist specializing in optics. All these, okay. And it mentions, he wrote a fundamental textbook integrating optics with Maxwell's theories of electromagnetism. Apparently the Drude model, is inaccurate, and that's why we haven't heard about it. It's not really taught. But some very important equations came out of it. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. Drude. Reading from Wikipedia. For the name Drude, see Drude surname. I'll have to look at that in a moment. In German folklore, a Drude, plural Druden, is a kind of malevolent nocturnal spirit, an elf, or kobold or hag, associated with nightmares, prevalent especially in southern Germany. Druden were said to participate in the wild hunt, and were considered a particular class of demon in Alfonso de Spina's hierarchy. God, there's so much I have to research now. The word also came to be used as a generic term for witch in the 16th century. The word is attested as Middle High German, Trut, in early modern lexicography, and down to the 19th century, it was popularly associated with the word druid. I thought I had done that on my own, in the opposite direction. And that was one of the things we were talking about, is entangled particles. Some are entangled backwards in time, and some are entangled forwards in time. And so now I believe that my word druid is entangled backwards in time to, this time period. It was popularly associated with the word druid without any etymological jurisdiction. Its actual origin is unknown. Grimm suggests derivation from euphemistic trut, modern trout, dear, beloved, intimate, which seems like the opposite of which, from current modern connotations, I guess I'll say. All right, I think you can tell when I'm doing asides and when I'm reading. But cites as an alternative suggestion a relationship to the Valkyrie's name Bruder, I think. It has really shaped letters because it's Old Norse. If so, it is natural to connect the Druden with the daughter of the chieftain of the gods in the Norse religion, Thor, who he got with his wife Sif. And that's interesting to me because I'm supposedly descended from Vikings in part. I'm, English and German as well, and a mix of other things. There's a smattering of various races in my family's past, but those three are certainly supposedly the strongest. Or I don't know if Viking is strong. I think it's just part of it. English and German may not. Anyways, and then there's some other things. The Drudenfuss, literally druid's foot, is the pentagram symbol. In early usage, also either a pentagram or a hexagram. A hexagram is basically the Star of David, but it predates that. And in fact, I pulled that up too. Let's see, the hexagram. It's been used in Hanafism, Judaism, Hinduism, occultism, so dharmic religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. It's used sometimes in the center of lotus flower drawings. It's been used by Jews, Christians, Latter-day Saints, Mormons, and even Rastafari. The Rastafari used a black Star of David. It's been used by Muslims. So now I'm realizing that this this hexagram doesn't necessarily have a circle around it. The hexagram is going to be important to me. Oh, I don't have my pentagram on right now. Anyways, okay, sorry. Jumping back to... Drude's surname doesn't say much. There's a Carl George Oscar Drude, a German botanist. Okay. Drude, type of witch, and this points to Drude, D-R-O-O-D. Okay, So back into the Drude Wikipedia. So yeah, the Drudenfuss is the pentagram symbol believed to ward off demons, explicitly so named in Goethe's Faust from 1808. The word has been in use since at least the 17th century, recorded by Justus George Chatelius as Drutenfuss, glost omnis in colummitatis signum. I don't know. I suppose I'll have to do research on that too. Its apotropaic use is well recorded for 18th to 19th century folk belief in Bavaria and Tyrol. I'm just reading you this whole thing for the hell of it. Drudenfuss is also the German name of the pentagram used as a heraldic device. Alternatively, Drudenkreuz, Druid's cross, and Alpfuss, Alfenfuss, Elffoot, or Alpkreuz, Elf cross. Besides the more descriptive Pent Alpha or Fünfstern. A Drudenstein is a pebble with a naturally formed hole in the center. In Bavaria, such pebbles were hung in rooms, on cradles, or in stables to ward off nightmares, or to protect horses against matted manes or tails. Drudenfuss is also another name for mistletoe. I have to go through all this. Mare from folklore, nightmare, hag, succubus, incubus, alp from folklore, that's elf again, and pentagram. Yeah, I've got a lot of research to do. But, let's see, flipping through my tabs. Oh, Drude was a musical. The Mystery of Edwin Drude. That's the double O. D-R-O-O-D. I can close that one. I don't care about that. Sif. Yeah, I was reading about Sif because the Norse mythology interests me. And in fact, at one point I had the days of our week are named after Norse gods. I don't want to get off track. This weird wow. This weird spelling for Druder from Old Norse, or Bruder, I don't know. I have no idea how that would be pronounced, and they don't help me with that. Apparently it means strength, sometimes anglicized as Thrude or Thrud, is a daughter of Thor. Right, so this may be one of the sources. Anyways, this is interesting, though, because apparently this is the name of one of the Valkyries, who would serve ale to the Einherjar, which are just the warriors who die in battle, go to Valhalla to, feast with the gods. It's boy, you want an afterlife. The Vikings had an orgy, essentially. Not just an orgy. I think, it was a feast, obviously. But it was a orgy of a feast, or a feast of an orgy. I think they could sleep in their heaven, too. But, yeah, you can come, but it would just do what you want, So yeah, it's not sure if the daughter of the god is the same as the Valkyrie. Apparently that was lost to time or something. They may be separate figures with the same name, or perhaps the daughter of Thor and Sif became a Valkyrie. And, Valkyries are kind of like warrior angels. They're Einherjar, single or once fighters. Died in battle. Okay, that's not... Okay, the hexagram. Yeah, and looking at, other hexagram it's not hexagon because it generally has crossing lines, but there are multiple ways to draw the hexagram, and I'm going to have to pass this isotoxal D3 symmetry. I'm going to have to pass this back to Jeremy, who I just met yesterday, because this looks like one of his depictions of electrons. Okay, Drude. The Reverso dictionary just says it means witch, and it says myth there. I like that. Yeah, witches are myths. Sure. Okay, this was something unrelated I was going to read. And these are 2 Facebook tabs that opened while I was trying to recover the other stuff. Is that everything? Drude translation. Yeah, okay. Alright, so that... Yeah, and there's a guy named Brent Drude. Hamoud? I don't know where that is. Anyways, so, yeah, that's all weird to me because... To get back to the basic point of the wiki, it means witch or demon on the one hand, but it also, well, I guess it's the Drudenfuss and the Drudenstein, which ward off the nightmares. The Druden were thought to bring nightmares, associated with nightmares, especially in southern Germany. Anyways, what's interesting to me about all this, I've been talking about dualities, dichotomies, and I'm a Gemini, if anybody cares. It's the twins, and that relates to the profile pic or avatar or whatever you want to say that I'm using right now. That certainly the yin and yang influence that, and my Gemini, the idea of the twins influenced that, and I can go more into that later if somebody's interested. It was an art project I did back in college, but so the dual but opposite meanings of the words interest me. That of course many pagans have adopted the word witch, but at the same time witch was really popularized mainstream with people who were trying to burn them, and it's what has led to, is that another stink bug? I don't know how they get in here. But, and they don't stink. They stink if you kill them, so, and I've never crushed one, on purpose, and I can't remember ever crushing one. If I did, it was when I was much younger. I don't really kill things myself, if I can help it, not intentionally. Sorry for that distraction, but that could be an omen if you pay attention to those things. If so, I've been getting a lot of stink bug omens this winter. But okay, stay on target. Stay on target. Have to concentrate. Have to concentrate. Pinch hitting for sorry. So yeah, the dual meanings, and in this case I'm talking about connotations, which are the like kind of emotions and subconscious meanings associated with words, where denotation is basically what you read when you pull up a dictionary, the literal definition. Connotations are much looser, and they spread, and when comparing two words that mean the same thing, you kind of get Venn diagrams where the denotations may not line up exactly, or even with the denotations you may see areas where usage provides differences between these. Oh yeah, this popped today. It probably looks a little bit red. Popped is a bad word. I just like kind of scraped it a little bit shaving, and it turned red. It's just the outer layer that kind of scraped off a little bit. Ingrown hair from like 10 years ago about. Actually, that relates to Sadvipran. Oh, and I was gonna say with the Valkyrie, that seems to relate to Sadvipran too. The meaning of Sadvipran, which is from Sanskrit, which again is a whole nother video. I've talked about it before, but you'd have trouble finding it, I'm sure, among all my old videos. Well, maybe I've lost my train of... Oh, so witch has very different connotations for people. The pagans have embraced it and used it, and even in popular culture when dealing with fantasy, art, and I use art broadly, not just visual art or movies, but fantasy writing and stuff, which is used in a somewhat positive way often. Well, in popular culture, it's a double-edged sword. There's, good witches and bad witches, and the Wizard of Oz certainly helped provide that differentiation, or, those terms, good witch or bad witch, wicked. But yeah, so it's interesting to see that Drude carries those multiple meanings. Oh, and I was about to say that obviously for some people it scares them. In fact, when I was chatting with my neighbors at one point, and they're a constantly changing group of students. They don't have very much parking there, but they have plenty of bedrooms, so they rent to a group of students that share a lease. And that changes every year or 3. The old group leaves and a new group comes in, so I've got all brand new people this year. But there was one time where I was chatting with some guys from next door, and they had their garage door open, and I noticed a sign in it which was humorous. I don't even remember why. I'd have to go back and look at that video to find it. The video of mine was called, I believe, Things I've Not Yet Shared Lest You Think Me Craxy. I misspelled crazy intentionally. No. Those keys are next to each other. I misspelled crazy unintentionally, hit backspace, and then retyped it as Craxy because I liked the error. It seemed crazier to me than crazy. Craxy did. In that video, there was a shot of this sign, and so I thought it would be interesting to share that video with them. So somebody pulled it up and I played it for them, and it didn't even cross my mind that was the video where I shared that I consider myself a witch. And I don't use the word witch much. I don't like the word warlock. It's got the word war and lock in it, and neither of those things I like. So, I think of myself more as a male witch, but even that I don't like a whole lot, because witch is generally associated with women. I tend to just say pagan on the few times that I'm talking about this, but as you may recall from my last video, which I think was just yesterday, although time is really moving at a strange rate, and I'm probably already at a half hour or something. Let's check that. Yep, 29:50. So, wow, I did sense that amount of time. That's weird. Yesterday when I was talking, I had no clue I was pushing 24 minutes. I thought I was at 15 or something. But just now I've been talking really quick. But so why is my... So maybe I should have guessed wrong. Anyways, and I don't like that this Drudenfuss on the Wikipedia is the pentagram is upside down. I don't like that. For me, that's like seeing an upside down cross for a Christian. Which it's interesting. The upside down cross doesn't bother me as much as the upside down pentagram. But I suppose that's because, for me, the upside down cross, like, I feel like it's pointing at the sky, which to me it almost makes more sense. It's like the Christian church has it inverted. Although, with the crucifixion, that doesn't make sense, because it's made to hold the human body. But obviously I don't like the crucifixion, and I don't like that a human sacrifice is at the center of Christianity. And zombie Jesus. I love me some Jesus, but the focus on eating his body and drinking his blood, there's some screwed up. I mean, gosh, talk about cognitive dissonance. This is my body broken for you. Eat it in remembrance of me. Now drink my flesh. Okay. Drink my flesh? I'm sorry. I really screwed that up. Maybe you can edit that, Ron? Let me try and get that moment back. Now drink my blood. Alright, do what you can with that. Oh. My phone is tired. Bought a Red Pop today for the first time in years. Reminds me of childhood a little bit. So yeah, Drude. It's an interesting mix of contradictions. Primitive, progressive. Yep. And it touches on German, Norse, yeah. And then once you get into the pentagram and hexagram, it obviously touches on a wide range of religions. Alright, I should get back to research and read this article I just found. A Brazilian shaman reveals the dark side of positive thinking. Man, that's my jam, because moderation, balance, people. If you drink too little water, you will die. If you drink too much water, you will die. A lot of people don't know that, but if you drink 3 or 4 gallons of water, you can rupture your stomach and die. I mean, if you imagine your stomach breaking, I mean, the first step is water getting into your body cavities, and I'm not sure exactly where it would be, but around your stomach, obviously. And you know, obviously you could probably screw up your intestine too, but I think if there's too much water in your stomach will try and hold it. I'm not sure. It may release it. I have a feeling that the bottom of your stomach can sense whether there's solids touching it or not. and it can automatically release when it senses fluid. But so certainly if you drank a lot of water on top of some food, it would probably make it even worse, or more likely that you'd rupture your stomach. Anyways, but after water leaking into your body cavity, you then have to deal with the stomach acid being able to get into your body cavity, which I don't even like beginning to think about it. And that, from me, that's meaning something, because I peer into the shadows. I do not run from them, I tell you that. There's some things that I'm afraid of, but I tend to try and face those to overcome them. And just as a side note, if the Drude means strength, I just want to, I guess, end on a note about bravery. Bravery is not the lack of fear. Lacking fear is when presented with danger. When not presented with danger, then having fear is paranoia. But when presented with danger, lacking fear is stupid. It's dangerous. Fear is a good thing. It's your subconscious letting you know that there's danger. It's that, the fight or flight triggers, and fear tells you to probably flee, or if you need to fight, fight carefully and well. But yeah, bravery is not a lack of fear. Bravery is facing your fear, overcoming it, in a way, overcoming that fight or flight instinct. And maybe fighting is the best thing in the face of danger. Maybe running is the best thing. But there's a lot of other options. And there is a theory of tend or mend. Tend or mend. Which I have issues with, but that's another aside. I've got research to do, and I've got some information I need to share with a few people.